Hello and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. I'm Sussy Nunez.
And I'm Reshea Kelly, and each week we dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice.
From the blind date, I want to also add that I cried my eyes out when he told Jessica all of that, and then he said, "You don't have to tell me anything. I don't expect anything." I was like, how is this man so perfect?
You know what else I just realized? None of this was love bomby. Like so many times, I really start to go whenever it's like an insta love situation or when it just is. It kind of seems too fast, or like you're reading a book, you're like, oh, they must have been dating forever, and then you realize it's been like 2 weeks, and you're like, oh, feels love bomby. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Totally.
And what got me is I read all of the Dare. I read all of Losers 1. I was in Losers 2. I have already read about Jess humping his boot. Like, I'd already read about anal. I had read about cum shots. I had read the most depraved shit, right? Her getting spanked and liking it, and all of the thoughts that he was having. And somehow when he said I love you, I was still like,
I know.
You're like, how did it surprise? Like, not that I was surprised. Like, it kind of, you can tell it's coming because, you know, it's a romance novel. But like at the same time, I was like, how is this getting me right in my feels? Because so many times people are like, oh, well, you know, if you, you know, have sex with somebody before you fall in love with them, or move in with somebody before you marry them, it just takes all the surprise away, and you're doing it in the wrong order. And they did it in the wrong order. And it was still such a beautiful love story. And it got me. I didn't cry, but it got me.
Love it. You're totally
I do
right.
agree. It didn't feel like they were smothering her either.
At all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Susie, what'd you say?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, definitely. And everything had a beautiful rhythm. Everything, even though it was like a few months, everything was perfect. The only thing, oh, let's talk about it in a minute. But yes, everything was perfect, and I agree with you. It didn't feel like everyone is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes in these books. Everyone is fucking up at some point, and you freaking love it because it's so human. And even though we read to escape in so many ways, I didn't want to escape because this felt so real, and I wanted to be Jessica. I was Jessica in my mind. So Harley Laroux, you did an amazing job.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm aside from like wanting to read something that's pure fantasy, I kept having to stop reading my book, or I'd make notes in my Kindle. I don't know, every chapter at least, going, God, this is the most impeccable writing.
I know.
It's not often that I read fiction that feels nonfiction because it's so realistically written. The flow of even like the cadence of the way that the characters talk, down to like the way that they think, and you're like, that doesn't sound like a convoluted or overly thought out thing. Like, that just sounds like exactly how you're thinking when you're in your brain, you know. And just the talent of Harley is off the charts. I cannot wait to read Her Soul to Take and that whole series. I'm so excited.
The Witches series, yes, same. Me too. Now that we're talking about Manson saying "I love you," let's talk about how this basically made a beautiful change of events of all of them saying "I love you" in a very different and very unique and very freaking cryable way. Deborah, which one was your favorite? Vincent's, Manson's, Jason's, or Lucas?
Has to be Vince's. It was easy. It was the most easiest one ever. All because when he took her to that house, you see that he had these paintings around these houses. But if you pay attention, they were all moments in time where he actually focused on her her sundress in kindergarten, something in a pageant. I can't remember entirely. And then the last one was them dancing in the rain at prom. That one, you see it that he was always there. He was always looking at her. Like these are all moments in time where there was no one but her. And that's all we want. It's just pay attention to me. Pay attention to, that's all. Pay attention. I'm not asking for these damn paintings. No, I'm literally just asking for you to just pay attention to me. Like, look at me. That's it.
Notice when we spend 2 hours doing our makeup.
Exactly.
Maybe say
just
something
notice
about
something.
it. Just
notice me. Look at me. Pay attention to me. Something.
There
But it's
is
those
a
little
quote.
details that really got me.
There is a quote that I freaking love. I try to live by this with my friends, with my partners, and everything. And I think this book is this, especially with the guys. It's like the perfect definition of this quote: "To be loved is to be seen," and they see Jessica so much. It's like the only thing they see is Jessica, and that it's we want that. We definitely want that.
Yeah, that's adorable.
Ugh.
In a not condescending way. It's like,
no, I know. What about you,
cute.
Reshea?
I'm trying to remember. So she told Jason she loved him outside
of his house.
And then she told Lucas that she loved him with the cats, right?
Yep.
Oh my God, yes.
And then Vincent was the house.
From there too.
Cherry. And
the
then
way I was crying.
Manson's was Sussy. Are you sure those antidepressants are working? Because I can't cry for shit when I'm on antidepressants.
I cried my eyes out, and it was perfect. But continue.
It's gotta be Vincent's too. It has to be because no, I know that's when he said that he loved her. She said, "I love you" back right away, right?
Yes,
I think so. Or I think it was vice versa.
I liked it because when she said "I love you" back to Manson, it I know it was like super touching and stuff, but it had kind of the air of he's in a really messed up place right now because they just cleaned out his childhood room, and that was really hard for him. So I'm gonna make it better by telling him I love him. And then Jason was having a really hard day and dealing with all of these hard feelings about his mom and his brother, and I'm gonna tell him I love him because it's gonna make him feel better. And I know that she wasn't sitting there going, "It's gonna make him feel better." She was really nervous about it, but it almost kind of felt like I know you're having a really hard time right now. Can we make this about me for a second?
No, I get that.
And I think I liked
like that.
I know, I'm not saying that it that's exactly what she meant. It just kind of felt like it detracted from, I don't know. I feel like there's other ways to be there for someone other than being like, well, here's something new that'll distract you from all the shit, you know? So I didn't think they were terrible, but I just liked Vincent's because it wasn't like something bad. So let me tell you I love you because I want you to know that I think that you're worth it. It was just, I love you because I love you. Yeah.
No, also when you think about it, the other three, they shared like their vulnerable moments. Like Jason shared his vulnerable moment with, and what made him who he is now was with the trauma with his parents. What made Manson the way he is now was his room. It's kind of like they're talking about their trauma, and then you're bringing up like the "I love you" thing. I get where you're coming from, though.
I do think it's nice that when they were having those vulnerable moments, her reassuring them, "Hey, I know that you think that this makes you unlovable, but I love you anyway." But I feel like maybe I would have preferred if it hadn't have been like the first time that she had said "I love you." If she had like said, "I still love you, even though you think because of these things that I'm gonna run away, I'm not. I do still love you." not saying that I would change anything Harley did, because there's no way I could write a book this good. So, don't listen to my opinions. Every time I'm like, you know what? I had a bit of a bone to pick about this book. And then I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? I can't write a chapter. I get distracted. What am I doing? You did a great job.
What about you, Susie? What was your favorite?
Mine was definitely Manson telling her. I didn't like any of the times that she told them I love you, only Vincent's. But if I had to choose one where they said I love you to her, it's going to be Manson's, because that was perfect. And it felt so genuine, and it felt very what's her name? Acted out. Like he did not plan to say I love you in that moment. It was just something, exactly. It was just something that he had in his chest for a long time, and he just wanted to, take it out. I loved Vincent's, but honestly, to me, don't guys, don't hate me for this. I freaking love that man. He's my second favorite, okay? But damn, that was a bit too much to me. The paintings and the dresses.
It's a bit performative, but
oh my god, yes, it was.
It was very performative. That is how much effort I expect you to put into a marriage proposal.
Yes. Yeah. Something like that.
But also, it's Vincent. It's Vincent. It fits.
Yes, exactly. That is
really does with who he is and how he is.
That's the only thought that I had while I was reading, is like, this guy is a clown. This guy is a performer. This guy is an artist. This is how he shows love. And I understand that. Like, I get that. I get that. And I get him. And I know people like him. And I've been like him in so many ways. But at the same time, it's too much. It's way too much for me. That's why Manson was perfect.
There's a quote. Hold up. I don't mean to be showing you guys my legs. I'm sorry. There's just paint all over me. So Jessica walks out. She's just been like dumped by the prom king / her boyfriend, and she had to like smile and do all that bullshit, right? And she goes outside, and Vincent's asking her why she's sad, and she's like, what makes you think I'm sad? And Vincent said there's just this bit that like got me, and it lives rent free in my head. A sad person knows what another sad person looks like. I said, I dared to reach out, brushing my fingers along her cheek to tuck a stray lock of blonde hair behind her ear. Goosebumps prickled over her arms, and my eyes widened. I hear it in your voice. I see it in your eyes. I feel it when I look at you. You deserve to be happy, but you'll never find it with the people you're choosing. Did we all have that fantasy in high school, like when we were adolescents?
Yes.
Of the guy brushing your hair behind your ear and going, I see you for who you really are.
Yeah.
But I choose you, Pikachu. Like, what? I don't.
Absolutely.
Like, it sounds so desperate now, but back then I'd spend hours in my room acting this out.
Waiting.
Hear me out, everyone. Vincent's family are the Weasleys, right?
From Harry Potter, if you don't know what we're talking about.
From Harry Potter. Come on. Yes, from Harry Potter. The Weasleys. Like, that's the vibe I got from his parents, and like the little kids running around. Like, I know that he only had one little sister and older brothers, but like just kind of like the well-loved home that's a little bit messy and things like that. You know what I'm talking about? It's the Weasleys. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. I have so many things to say about this point specifically from a psychological point, but I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to say something. If you cannot afford to have kids, do not have them. They should not be working their ass off selling drugs for your family to be better. Even though they didn't ask for it, your kids want to, help you. That's what Vincent did. And listen, I freaking love his family. They are beautiful. They're perfect in so many emotional ways and warm ways. But in that way of having a lot of kids and not taking care of, reproductive activities, that's not okay. That's absolutely not okay. And I do not agree with how he grew up. I cannot do anything. It's a book, but we see this story every day in real life. And I don't think it's fair for those kids.
Say it louder for the people, for the ignorant in the back. Because I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
I don't
If you
disagree with
can't
you.
afford it, don't do it.
No, exactly.
And
Okay,
get
we
ready
all
because there's
agree.
going to be some people in the comments saying don't get involved. It's none of your business. It's just our
Hey,
opinion.
Susie, don't turn this one into an Instagram clip, all right?
I am going to. You know I'm going to.
All right, so this is what Vincent said when he was talking about like in his head, like inner monologuing about Jessica leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I needed her to stay. I wanted her to, but the choice was hers, and the only thing I could do now was show her this was where she needed to be. And I thought that you might like that because it's literally the opposite of one of your least favorite tropes in the whole world, which is the I'm not good enough, so I'm going to just break off the relationship because she deserves better.
You know what's insane?
I love that he knew that she deserved better.
I was talking to my friend today about literally this quote. And I said, Reshea, we are witching. And I said, to her, I don't understand why authors don't get this vibe. We don't want people to break up. We want them to stay together and work on things. And I love that you put it there because it's true. It's me.
I was like, I wrote, I'm like, this is the opposite of the not good enough trope, and I'm here for it. And I was like, I need to just tell Susie about this. And
so, can we talk about Lucas' self-destructing behavior and how he's the perfect example of how to not be a sub? Yes.
How to not be a sub?
Yes, because he's not being a sub because he enjoys the sub space, because he finds pleasure in serving his master or his dom. He wants to feel pain as a form of punishment. He wants to be punished because he feels like he deserves punishment because he hates himself. He has a lot of self-loathing going on. And that is not something a dom can fix for you. That's what therapy is for.
Exactly. I love this.
I remember I read it somewhere in the book.
Yes. And to this point, I love the fact that he said at some point, almost finishing the second book, he said, I think I am worth enough of therapy. And that made me cry so freaking hard.
There's nothing hotter than a man who goes to therapy. I swear to God. A man who goes, I want to talk about my feelings. All right, I'll fuck you right now, of course. Because that's what that sounds like to me.
We need to talk about how perfect of a master Manson is. Because when Lucas, wanted to be destroyed, he wanted to feel pain. What did Manson say?
I promised you I was going to be gentle. Why are you trying so hard to force me not to be? I told you I don't deserve it, he said. Please, Manson, please. It's so hard. That's what she said. I'm sorry, I have to. And then Manson says, I know it is, but it will get easier. I'll remind you every day if I have to, of how much I love you and how precious you are to me. This is exactly what you deserve, I said. You deserve to be treated kindly. You deserve to be loved and pleasured and cared for.
Polyamory representation as something healthy.
So, okay, I understand that there's people who are going to read this and go, wow, that's so cool. Still monogamous, though. That's good for you. No judgment here. But there's something that Jason says that I think perfectly wraps up the representation of polyamory within this book, as opposed to, I don't know, like most other representations of it where it's a bit toxic and there's a lot of jealousy and things like that. Jason said,
walking around.
Jason said, I used to think I was supposed to settle down with one woman, not have sex until my wedding night, and be loyal to my one and only forever. One person was supposed to fulfill everything for me, and I was supposed to do the same for them. I didn't fit into that mold, though. He twined his fingers through mine and brought my hand to his mouth so he could kiss it. It's impossible to compare the way I love Vincent to the way I love Manson, or the way I love Manson to the way I love Lucas. Intimacy can involve a lot of sex or a little sex or none at all. Love is the same way. There's no specific mold it has to fit. We have found what fulfills us.
I think that really does describe not only them, but also Paul and Emery very well.
Yeah.
The actual concept of polyamory, not what people sell on TV, the toxicity and the jealousy and all of that. Of course, you're going to feel those things when you're in a relationship with a lot of people, more than one person. But you know what? We all do. It's totally fine. The thing is that if you are in a poly relationship, you will be communicating things to your partners. You will talk about things, and that is what these guys do. And we need to talk about how perfect they are at giving each other space, because they understand. Like, we know at some point that they all knew when Jessica told one of the guys, "I love you" first, and then they felt some type of way. And at some point they say something about it, and it was so perfect how they treated that topic. It can be a very difficult subject in a polyamory relationship, and they did it so well. The emotional intelligence is emotionally intelligencing.
Yeah, I loved it so much. You know what's really great about that is they have this super intimate moment. Lucas even calls Yellow because he's feeling so emotionally vulnerable. He's not ready. So also a good little tip for you guys. Yellow doesn't just mean that you're physically in pain. It means you're not mentally ready to handle what's happening regardless of what it is. But then after this super deep moment, Manson absolutely rails Lucas in the backseat of Jess's new car. And he says, "We made a mess of her car." And Manson said, "She's gonna love it though. I wish she were here to clean it up."
Perfection.
Like he was gonna make her lick it up. There was a lot of representation of mental health struggles and mental illness in this book that I think all of us agree deserves at least a little bit of praise and recognition, because I don't think any of us are 100% mentally good, right?
No.
Yeah.
Reshea.
And it's so nice.
It's 2024. Nobody is mentally stable.
Nobody. Nobody's mentally stable except Vincent, apparently. No, not even him. So if you haven't read this book and you're like, I don't know, it seems just like it's straight up BDSM erotica, there's nothing deeper to the story. There's nothing super duper relatable, because I'm never gonna fuck 4 guys, or whatever your thought process is. They touch on dissociation. There's a part where Manson says, "It's like a part of me went into hiding that day. The good part, the happy part. I can't figure out how to snap out of it. It's like cold pressure filling my chest. I look down at my hands, flexing my tingling fingers. I feel disconnected from my body, from my brain, like I'm falling apart." And anybody who's ever struggled with bouts of dissociation due to like severe anxiety, I'm going to go ahead and guess Harley Laroux has either been there or spoke to somebody who has, because that was super duper accurate. Harley also talks about highlights invisible illnesses. So invisible illnesses are things that people look at you and go, "Oh, you must be fine." Invisible illnesses can be anything from diabetes to dyslexia, right? So it's just, you look fine on the outside because you don't have a broken arm, or, you know, you don't have like your head falling off or something. It's invisible. Harley makes a really good point of driving home the fact that it doesn't matter how many comforting words you receive. It's not going to convince a sick brain to stop being sick, because it doesn't work like that. And it's really nice that they made characters who had CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder from childhood, like rough childhoods and things like that.
Lucas.
There's a representation of people going to therapy and finding, like, gaining tools for their toolbox to help them cope in healthier ways. Manson had alcoholic parents. He suffered from physical and mental abuse. So all those things are touched on, and they are really well represented. they're like prominent parts in the books. They're not even just like, oh yeah, they had a bad childhood and then it's never mentioned again. Like this creates the characters and who they are, and it's so beautifully done because these characters who are so inherently flawed are still so interesting and intelligent and captivating and worthy of love and worthy of all of these good things that happen to them. And I think that it's really nice to see just a more relatable character have good things happen to them.
I do agree with what she said. A lot of books nowadays, they don't touch up on like the past. I mean, they touch up on it, but they don't explain. Meanwhile, what we see here on Losers, we see what made this person them, how they are now. And a lot of it is, like you said, a lot of it still happens to today. And it's nice to actually see it kind of relatable.
I kept reading these books because of the smut. It was phenomenal. But honestly, there were some points when I was like, I don't even care about the smut. I want to know what is happening with these characters on a deeper level because they are so real. These are my friends. These are the people that I talk to every day. People that are actually going through maybe some LGBTQ trauma, PTSD, or they don't talk to their families anymore because they are in the community. Because when you read smut, erotica, whatever you want to call it, you tend to see these characters very vain. They are very on the superficial side. Like you see them, but you actually don't know them. And with these guys, we know Manson, we know Lucas, we know Jason, we know Vincent, we know Jessica. We actually know the girl that is, I don't remember her name, Vicky, Lucas' friend. And it's like, I love them all. I want to keep reading about them because in a way, we are them. And that is something that not every author can do. So you did great, Harley. We love you.
Best
Just
book
setting
ever.
that bar so high now.
Yeah,
I know.
it kind of is. You do.
The bonus chapter, you guys.
Oh, I know.
I loved it because it wasn't like super bad. Like, or no, it wasn't like super dirty, but like so sweet, so intimate. And then also just like, you know?
I loved that there was no smut. It was perfect that way. The moment that Manson started talking outside with Lucas and he said stuff like, now you do believe in God. The fact that there was no smut, but so much insinuation, and the fact that we know that they end up together, it was perfect.
First of all, the first kiss. Amazing. I love a first kiss when the two characters are like straight up grappling and they're like, no, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, wait. Fuck you? Fuck you? Okay, fuck you. You know, like I love it when it's just like angry and impassioned and then they just like stop and then it's just like a different kind of passion. So great. But then also, I think I kind of love the idea of Manson just standing there watching Lucas make out, just hardcore second basing with some girl at a party.
That part.
And Harley did this insane thing where Manson sounds like an awkward as fuck teenager.
Yes.
Like,
he says, the boy wants an audience. He know he looks like such a whore, about to come in his pants just from kissing her. He needs someone to bring him under control. What?
That's spoken like a straight up teenager who knows that he wants to be a dom, but has no idea what he's doing.
They were fighting and whatever. And Manson says, tell me to stop because, you know, they're grabbing each other. And then Lucas says, don't you fucking dare. And then to top everything, Manson asked Lucas, do you believe in God? He shook his head, irritation drawing his eyebrows together. No, I don't fucking believe. You do now. What?
Oh my God.
And no, you guys, that's it. This is the last one. I promise this is the last one. Lucas says, I am a sinner and a blasphemer. And Manson says, I accept nothing less. I'm done. My
That
God.
was snaps going in the snap jar.
There was a point in there where they didn't know who insinuated who. They didn't know who initiated it. It's like they both wanted it. It's like what you said, Reshea, like they're fighting and then they're like, wait a minute. I'm feeling something. Are you feeling something? And then they both initiate it. Okay. Not only that, that's where he said, you're like a greedy little puppy just wanting attention or something like that. And I'm like, that's where he got his nickname. That's why he calls him Pup.
Yes.
That it makes sense now.
You
So
guys,
great.
I was not expecting Harley to actually release something because I thought it was finished. And I really, really, really think that this is maybe a taste of something that is going to come out at some point. And I'm manifesting it.
All right. There's a lot of discourse going on like book talk, social media, and bookstagram and book I'm bringing it back, that people who don't read smut or erotica are kind of starting to do this pushback thing, and a lot of times they say things that indicate that they think that they're better than people who read smut, or their books are more worthy of more substance, right? So what I wanted to say was erotica can be erotica and still have an important message. Stop insisting that quality literature must meet certain societal standards of pious and proper conversation. Real life is messy. Real life is imperfect.
Yes.
Sexuality and sex are part of the human condition, and books that don't keep those parts locked away are not less valuable because of it.
I agree with everything. I absolutely despise it when people are like, look down on me just because of what the hell I read. Like, leave me the hell alone. I'm reading. Just because I'm not learning how to write a business, how to make a business, doesn't mean that I'm not learning how to please my husband. So I'm still learning.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
Also, there's people who are angry, like, oh, nowadays book talk is only spicy books and stuff. Do you remember when we used to be reading these really great novels? And I'm like, some of this stuff is really good. Have you just been refusing to read it because it has spice in it? Because it sounds like, I don't know, you're judging a book by its cover.
Literally.
That's pretty much it. It's always those type of people that they always claim like I don't judge no one. Like I never judge people, but yet you're judging a book by its cover and you're kind of judging me just because of what the hell I read. Like, who the hell are you? And again, I'm learning. I'm learning differently than you, but I'm still learning. This is still giving me knowledge.
Reading doesn't have to make you don't have to be reading in order to gain some knowledge and come out of it smarter. Reading can be an escape. That's what fiction is for. People aren't reading about dragons because they want to get smarter. They want to escape. And, I like escaping that way too, but this is a fun way to escape as well. Why are we yucking people's yums? It's 2024. I don't understand.
I have a library of self-care books, of self-help books. Every time I read any of those books, I take that as a study. I don't take that as I'm reading for fun. That is not fun. You're studying. You're taking care of your brain. You're taking care of yourself with those books. But this is another type of taking care of yourself. So I think that is what people don't understand. Those self-help books are great. They're phenomenal, but they are study time. This is having fun time. This is, let's make my brain go creative today in another way. I don't think they are understanding that. And you know what? It's okay because we don't need that. We don't need their understanding. We love our books. We love these worlds that we get into when we open a new book. So heck freaking yes, let's keep doing that. And to you, if you are criticizing what we read, babes, it's 2024. What are you doing? Hello. Thank you guys. We love you so much. Deborah, where can our seniors find you?
You can find me on my TikTok, Deb Alexandra. And right there, I post all my book talk reviews. I now call them my smutty takes because I needed a title. So I just named it my smutty takes. I post all book content. I receive a lot of arcs lately. I read arcs and anything book related. That's my account. That's all I do.
Love that.
We love it, babes.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to hear any more recommendations you guys give me because you know I will read it, you know I will love it, and I can't wait for more recommendations.
Same,
Of
likewise.
course. Deborah, you're the best. We love you. Cannot wait to have you back. And whenever we recommend you something, read it because we're the best. We have very good taste.
You do. Love you guys.
Because you can't get enough of us, be sure to follow us at Come With Us Pod on all of our socials. That's TikTok, Instagram. I think we have a Threads. And you can find all of our links at our website, comewithuspod.com. Please leave us a 5-star review on whatever streaming platform you like to use. Make sure to like, follow, share, send us a
Subscribe.
message. We would absolutely love to get it. And then be sure to head on over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can not only hear our amazing voices in your ears, but see our beautiful faces through your eyes.
I mean, what more
You're
do you
welcome.
want? Sinners, you've been good little angels. Thank you for listening. And remember, stay wicked, stay wild, and keep reading. We love you. Bye.